Hey guys, this is Jason with MuseGrid.com, and in this video I'm going to give you a complete overview of our self-hosted video player widget inside of our videokit 1.0. Now, if you haven't already downloaded videokit, you can go to the videokit page on MuseGrid, download the package, double-click on the included mulib file, M-U-L-I-B file, and what it'll do is install the library of widgets inside of your library panel like you see here. And what we're going to work with today is our self-hosted player, which you're going to drag and drop out to screen, and you can see that I already have one on page, so I'm not going to drag and drop it out again. It is possible that when you drag and drop it out that you receive maybe an alert that says there's some assets potentially missing, or maybe you don't see a preview that looks something like this. What that means is that you need to connect up the video assets that you have located here in the settings panel, which I'm going to go through now and show you where you can locate those. So when we open up the settings panel, what you'll see is that we have a version number and then the ability to get support and tutorials. So it's really important that you notate this, because if you do need support or additional tutorials, you can of course click here and it will take you off to our videokit page where you can watch. So the first setting that we can set is our Playhead control type. Now you'll notice in this widget you have a little bit more control over some things as opposed to, say, the Vimeo and the YouTube player widgets, just simply because you're limited by what they provide, as opposed to here we're using another third-party player to make this all work, but we do have a little bit more control over what we can do. So in this particular case, we can have Playhead control type. So it's either all, which means you have the button in the middle as well as the player controls down at the bottom. You could do center button only. Or you can of course do just controls. And in the preview panel here, as you can see, it's actually loading up just fine right now. But just to note that on occasion you may see a thumbnail cannot be generated or something like that. When you're loading video in and out in these previews on the design canvas, depending on your machine and depending on the size of your file and all of that, just know that it could show up as empty or what have you. It's kind of a normal process inside of Adobe Muse that can happen on occasion. Obviously it hasn't happened to us here yet. However, it could happen, and I just want to make that note. Now, I'm just going to go back to all so that we have the default setup here. Now, the next thing you can do is you can either work from a self-hosted point of view, which means that you're going to upload your MP4 file, which you can see here, or you can have it remote hosted, which means that it will you can put in, say, a CDN URL address to your video. So this would be good if you're like using Amazon S3, or it's some externally hosted video somewhere else. You can actually just put the fully qualified URL address in here to the MP4 video, and of course it'll play it remotely from that remote location as well. So first, as you can see, as I toggle between the two, that it's the exact same video for me on both of these here. So that's why, you know, it's not changing whenever I'm switching between hosting types. So here, obviously, if I do self-hosted, what I'm going to do is upload my video and include it in this package. What you're going to find, if I go to my desktop, videokit, this is what you'll download here. You'll see sample files and of course timelapse.mp4, so that's the same file that I have here. So I'm just going to cancel that. And then the other thing you're going to want to do is upload a background poster image, and that's of course this preview that you'll see before you play, and of course at the end of your video as well. If you don't include a background poster image, it's just going to be blank. It's just going to be a blank kind of like space, and you can click play and your video will definitely start playing, but you want to kind of have some sort of a preview here that people can get some context for in your video, and of course the background poster image will do that for you. Ideally, the background poster image is the first frame of your video, but it can theoretically be anything that you want. Now, another thing that we definitely need to do is upload our custom icons file. So there's an SVG file that we've also included in this same package. So if I go back to my desktop and I go to videokit, and you'll see this plyr.svg. This is what we need to select right here that gets uploaded to this location here. Okay, so you need to make sure that that's, of course, applied properly. If you don't apply that properly, what will happen is all of these play controls and what have you just simply won't show up. So if you see that initially on your, whenever you drag and drop it out, that's why. You just need to upload you need to attach the PLYR to SVG file that's included in this package. Now one of the last things here is your player accent control. So you see this blue color that we have assigned that's here by default. Let's say that we want to change that to red, for example. As you'll see that the button has now changed to red, and of course some of the other accent control colors have also changed to red as well. Now one thing you can do is turn autoplay on, which means that when this video loads for your user for the very first time, it'll automatically start playing without any need for user intervention for your user. And then last but certainly not least is a really important new feature called Plays Inline. Plays Inline means that on mobile devices, including phones and tablets, and in particular Apple devices, iOS version 10 or higher, will allow you to play this video inline in the browser without opening it up into the device-specific video playing experience. So it'll keep the web page open, and so you can continue interacting with the web page while you're also watching the video, which is really amazing. But again, that is iOS version 10 plus or 10 or higher. If you're running 9 or less or what have you, what it'll do when you click play, it'll just open up the normal video playing experience that you've always been used to on your phone and devices. So let's take a quick peek at this now that we have these settings set. Let's just do a quick preview in browser. As you can see, a nice little hover effect that shows the button expanding and contracting there a bit. And as you can see, I can change the size of my browser, and it's just smooth. It's really beautiful and smooth. It works really well. The responsiveness of this widget is something we really worked hard on to get that just right, because at the end of the day, that's what you guys are looking for, is good responsive video widgets inside of Adobe Muse. And of course, I can just click this, and as I'm toggling through here, you can see that it just continuously plays, and it's a good thing. So guys, that's it. That is the custom video player for Adobe Muse and VideoKit 1.0. Hopefully you guys can put this to very good use.